Welcome, brave souls, to a tale etched in blood and shadow, the Monster Wars, Age of Darkness. Tonight, we journey into an era where monstrous legions clashed in endless battles, where kingdoms fell, and where humanity stood on the brink of annihilation. This was not just a war of steel and claw, but of ancient powers and forbidden magic unleashed upon the world. In this age, alliances were fragile, hope scarce, and darkness reigned supreme. Prepare yourself as we unravel the chronicles of terror, glory, and survival in the Monster Wars. The darkness has risen. Will you dare to face it? The Monster Wars, Age of Darkness. There are tales that whisper of kingdoms swallowed by shadows, of skies eclipsed by winged terrors, and of empires broken under the weight of claws and fangs. Among these stories, none loom greater than the saga of the Monster Wars, Age of Darkness. This was not merely a conflict of armies, but a battle for existence itself. Mortals and monsters, gods and cursed titans, clashed in an age when light seemed destined to fade forever. The Age of Darkness was more than a chapter in history. It was the crucible that forged legends, reshaped the balance between humanity and the creatures of the abyss, and defined the fragile peace that followed. To understand it is to glimpse a world at the brink of annihilation, and the desperate courage of those who dared to resist. The origins of the Monster Wars. The Monster Wars were not born overnight. They were centuries in the making, rooted in an ancient betrayal. Long before humanity's rise, the monsters of the world were the dominant force. Dragons ruled the skies, leviathans commanded the seas, and colossal beasts roamed the earth. Their reign was absolute until the gods intervened. The gods, seeking balance, gifted mortals with fire, steel, and magic. Humanity, once fragile prey, rose in defiance of the monsters. Wars raged across millennia, pushing the beasts into wildernesses, oceans, and forgotten realms. With every victory, mortals built kingdoms. With every defeat, monsters retreated deeper into the shadows. Yet the monsters did not forget. Their hatred simmered, passed down through bloodlines and curses. Legends tell of a council of ancient beings, the Dragon Lords, the Serpent Kings, and the Broodmothers of the Abyss, who swore vengeance. In the deepest abyss, they forged a pact, calling upon a force older than the gods themselves, the Primordial Darkness. It was this pact that ignited the Monster Wars and plunged the world into the Age of Darkness. The Dawn of Darkness. The Age of Darkness began with omens. The sun dimmed for weeks, casting twilight over the world. Storms raged across continents, seas boiled with leviathans rising from the deep, and monstrous hordes poured from ancient caves long thought sealed. Humanity's border fortresses crumbled under the first wave of attacks. Dragons descended upon cities, breathing storms of fire and frost. Shadows birthed creatures with a hunger for human souls. Even forests turned hostile, as twisted beasts corrupted by darkness hunted anything that walked. Kingdoms fell one after another. The Western Empire, once the jewel of civilization, was shattered in days by the combined assault of wyverns and giant trolls. The golden kingdoms of the south were drowned beneath tidal leviathans. The eastern clans were overrun by swarms of flesh-eating locust beasts that blotted out the sky. For humanity, it seemed the end had come. The world had been reclaimed by its original masters, the factions of war. The Monster Wars were not merely a clash of man versus beast. Both sides fractured into factions, each with their own ambitions, strengths, and rivalries. The monster legions, the armies of darkness, were vast and varied. Among their leaders were the Dragon Lords, ancient, near-immortal dragons who sought to burn civilization to ash and reclaim the skies. The Broodmothers, gargantuan insect queens that spawned endless swarms, spreading corruption across fertile lands. The Abyssal Serpents, leviathans that rose from oceans to devour fleets and flood coasts. The Shadowborn, beasts born of nightmares, creatures without natural form, birthed from the primordial darkness itself. Each faction competed for dominance, yet all were united under the singular goal of annihilating mankind. The mortal resistance. Against overwhelming odds, humanity did not fall silently. Scattered kingdoms, tribes, and empires forged uneasy alliances. The Order of the Flame, warrior monks wielding fire magic, sworn to extinguish the influence of darkness. The Iron Legions, remnants of shattered empires, soldiers hardened by endless battles. The Silver Circle, a coalition of sorcerers and scholars who unearthed forbidden magic to counter the monsters. The Free Tribes, nomadic peoples who fought with beasts of their own, riding giant wolves, lions, and falcons into war. Though divided by culture and distrust, humanity understood one truth: only unity could grant them survival. Key battles of the age. The fall of Arinder. Arinder, a city built upon cliffs of white stone, was humanity's strongest fortress in the West. For centuries, it was considered unbreakable. Yet when the Dragon Lords descended, its walls melted under torrents of flame. The massacre that followed broke mortal morale across kingdoms. Survivors whispered of the sky turning red as 1,000 dragons darkened the horizon. The Siege of Black Spire. Black Spire was the last stronghold of the Iron Legions. For months, trolls, giants, and swarms of shadow beasts besieged it. The defenders held, using ballistae tipped with silver fire. Songs still tell of General Kale Ironfist, who led a suicidal charge that broke the monster lines, buying enough time for refugees to escape. His sacrifice made him a legend, though Black Spire itself was consumed. The Battle of the Drowned Coast. The abyssal serpents attacked naval fleets, dragging entire ships beneath the waves. In desperation, the Silver Circle unleashed a spell that split the ocean itself, stranding leviathans upon jagged reefs where they could be slain. The cost was immense. Entire fleets shattered, and many sorcerers burned their souls to fuel the spell. Yet it marked one of humanity's rare victories, the Night of Eternal Eclipse. The darkest moment of the Age of Darkness came when the primordial darkness itself stirred. The moon vanished, and endless night covered the world for 3 days. During this time, the Shadowborn ravaged unchecked. Entire kingdoms vanished without a trace. It was only through the combined efforts of the Order of the Flame and the Silver Circle that dawn returned, though countless lives were lost. Heroes and legends. Despite overwhelming odds, the monster wars birthed heroes whose deeds became immortal. Seraphina the Dawnblade, a warrior priestess who wielded a sword said to be blessed by the gods themselves. She rallied armies, slaying countless monsters, and became a symbol of hope. Eric the Wolf King, leader of the Free Tribes, said to ride a dire wolf the size of a warhorse. His guerrilla tactics harried monster legions, buying precious time for cities to prepare defenses. Kale Ironfist, the general whose final stand at Black Spire became a tale of unyielding courage. Alindra the Spellbinder, Archmage of the Silver Circle, who sacrificed her life to summon storms that drowned a Leviathan fleet. The Nameless Stranger, a figure shrouded in mystery, who appeared in battles across continents, always striking the killing blow against monsters too powerful for mortals. Some say he was a god in disguise, others a cursed immortal seeking redemption. These figures, along with countless unsung heroes, embodied the resilience of humanity against extinction. The Turning of the Tide. After years of devastation, humanity discovered a crucial truth. The monster's strength came not merely from their size or numbers, but from the primordial darkness. It empowered them, binding factions that would otherwise war against each other. To end the Age of Darkness, the source itself had to be severed. The Silver Circle, through forbidden rituals, learned that the darkness was not infinite. It was anchored to the world through conduits hidden in ancient ruins. If these conduits were destroyed, the monsters would weaken, losing unity and strength. Thus began the Crusade of Light, humanity's desperate counterattack. Armies marched not to reclaim territory, but to strike directly at the heart of darkness. Each victory came with unimaginable cost, but slowly, the tide turned. The Dragon Lords were slain one by one, their corpses falling like burning mountains. The broodmothers were purged in their nests, though entire armies vanished in the process. The abyssal serpents were bound in chains of magic and sunk into ocean trenches. The Shadowborn, though endless, began to dissipate as conduits were shattered. The final battle came at the Chasm of Nithyrus, the deepest wound in the world. Here, the primordial darkness itself manifested, a living shadow that consumed reality. Seraphina the Dawnblade, Eric the Wolf King, and the nameless stranger led the charge. Legends say Seraphina plunged her blade into the heart of darkness, sacrificing herself to seal it away. The monsters, deprived of their unifying force, fell into chaos. Many fled back into wildernesses, oceans, and caverns, while others were hunted down. Humanity, scarred but unbroken, had survived. Aftermath of the Age of Darkness. The monster wars ended, but the world was forever changed. Kingdoms lay in ruins, their people scattered. Civilization was forced to rebuild from ashes. The balance of power shifted. Sorcerers gained immense influence, having proven essential in victory. Warriors of the tribes became kings, and new orders rose from the chaos. The monsters were not gone, only diminished. Dragons still haunted mountains, leviathans lurked in seas, and the Shadowborn whispered in dreams. Humanity's dominance was fragile. Legends endured. Heroes of the age became saints, martyrs, and demigods in stories passed down through generations. Their sacrifices were immortalized in songs, monuments, and oaths of future warriors. Above all, the Age of Darkness left one lesson. The monsters would never truly vanish. They were part of the world, just as much as humanity. Peace was only temporary, and vigilance would forever be the price of survival. Explanation of themes. At its heart, the Monster Wars, Age of Darkness is not just about epic battles between mortals and monsters. It is a reflection of timeless themes. The struggle for survival. Humanity's resilience in the face of annihilation is the story's core. Despite overwhelming odds, mortals fought on, driven not by strength but by unity, sacrifice, and hope. The cycle of power. Monsters once ruled, then humans rose, and then monsters sought to reclaim dominance. History is portrayed as cyclical, where balance shifts but never stabilizes. The price of victory. Every triumph came with devastating cost. Heroes sacrificed their lives, civilizations collapsed, and even victory meant a scarred world. The story asks, is survival worth the price of losing so much? The nature of darkness. The primordial darkness represents not just literal shadows, but the destructive impulses of hatred, vengeance, and fear. It is a force both external and internal, echoing the monsters within humanity itself. Legacy and memory. The war ends, but its legacy shapes the future. The heroes who lived and died during the Age of Darkness become guiding lights for generations, a reminder that courage and sacrifice can hold back the abyss. The Monster Wars. Age of Darkness is a saga of destruction and rebirth, of despair and defiance. It is the tale of a world nearly consumed by the monsters of shadow, and the mortals who refused to surrender. The wars scarred kingdoms, destroyed empires, and birthed legends that would echo for eternity. Though the darkness was sealed, the lesson remained. Monsters never truly vanish. They wait, patient in shadow, for the moment when humanity forgets its fear. And so, the Age of Darkness lives on not only in stories, but as a warning. For as long as men walk the earth and beasts dwell in the dark, the monster wars may rise again. And so ends our journey through the Monster Wars. Age of Darkness, an age where shadows consumed light and monsters ruled the battlefield. These chronicles remind us that even in the darkest times, courage and sacrifice could tip the balance between survival and extinction. If you enjoyed uncovering this grim chapter of history, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more tales of myth, legend, and terror. Join the discussion in the comments below. What would you have done if caught in this war of beasts and darkness? Until next time, stay vigilant. The shadows are never far away.